Hey guys, Akio Murasaki here. Happy New Year everyone, welcome after the break. Akumashito de gozaimasu. Yes, hello everyone. And straight after New Year, we are jumping right into some hot water drama here with a localization topic. Yes, so apparently there's the Musume anime and localizers. Yes, they again could not stop themselves from mistranslating a very common phrase called Merry Christmas to Happy Holidays in a scene. I'm gonna play the scene so you guys see exactly what is happening. The voice isn't very high, but you can clearly see what is being said, what is actually being said there in katakana. For instance, here the girls are celebrating a Christmas party, yes, and saying Merry Christmas and raising their drinks. So what is going on here? Yes. Apparently, the phrase Merry Christmas somehow cannot be directly translated from quote-unquote Japanese, because it's an English phrase, into English. Yes, it has to be replaced with Happy Holidays in the official localization of the Musume anime. And now, you might think to yourself, well, clearly localizers are plain stupid. I have no idea what they're doing. Actually not. All of this is completely intentional. And in order to understand how this is intentional, you have to go into a deep dive and understand the mind of a localizer. Yes. First off, to some of you who are probably not familiar with who localizers are in general, they're usually extremely progressive, extremely liberal people living in the amazing bubble of Californiaville. Yes, many of them probably live there. I wouldn't be surprised. And they have a very extreme mindset and extreme understanding of what is happening in the world, to such an extent that sometimes it takes like a lengthy explanation to even get from A to B to understand how localizers think. I'll give you guys an idea. If you've probably noticed in a couple of localizations, the word mansplaining is being used very often. Now, why is whenever a man is explaining something to a woman, why is the word mansplaining used so often? Well, because obviously we all live in a patriarchy, and every single situation where a man talks to a woman and is explaining anything is by definition mansplaining. No, I'm not even joking. Yes, this is exactly the kind of mindset localizers use. And I have a couple of posts here on Twitter to illustrate exactly the supporters of these localizers and their a very interesting thinking process. So first we have Sora Rainsford commenting on that post saying, "I don't understand how this is a big deal." And I completely agree. I also don't understand why Merry Christmas cannot be translated to Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas is not some sort of wasei eigo. This is not a secret meaning. It's not like imeji, for instance, where you cannot directly translate imeji to image because it means something more like impression, imagination, idea of something. No, Merry Christmas means Merry Christmas and should be translated as Merry Christmas. So yes, I also do not understand how this is a big deal and why was it even changed. And then we have more examples equally fascinating. We have here this individual, neo-libertarian phalangist Xeets. Okay, sir, Xeetser, sir. Because the Japanese aren't Christians, they don't celebrate Christmas as the birth of Christ, but as eating KFC and opening presents. It is just a holiday for them if you think about it. Well, I actually did think about it, and I can tell you straight away that Christmas as a concept, Christmas parties, are so incredibly secular in the West as well, that they have very little to do nowadays with being Christian or celebrating the birth of Christ. And if you're, I'm assuming a Protestant, for instance, are you even celebrating the birth of Christ? Or no, you're not. But you're still celebrating Christmas, right? And so, for instance, for the Japanese, yes, they do eat KFC, as funny as it sounds. They do eat fried chicken for Christmas and at Christmas parties. But what they still celebrate is Christmas. Yes, it's not happy holidays, whatever that means. They do celebrate Christmas. And this neo-libertarian person just keeps on digging into more and more unusual and unreasonable points, like this one here. Why lie? Our Christmas is completely different than theirs. Who is we in this case? It's an average holiday. Well, no, it's still Christmas. Meanwhile, for us, it carries religious value. Sometimes it does. Very often, it does not. And who is our Christmas in this case? I really want to know. And there is, of course, more of this. Japanglish, what the hell is that even? Something about Halloween. Oh, it's a religious holiday. Obviously, it's a religious holiday. There was one more tweet I found here. I'm trying to dig through it a little bit. Oh god, I can't actually find it. Give me a sec. Probably gonna dig it up. Okay, I found the entire thread here. So yes, we're going back to this libertarian person. He gets a reply here about what Merry Christmas even is, and doubles down with his why lie? Our Christmas is completely different than theirs, for it's an average holiday. Meanwhile, for us, it carries religious value, as I mentioned before. And then the Shinto person here says, it's actually surprising that anyone would engage in that sort of conversation, because it makes absolutely no sense. Like, it's such a basic thing to just say Merry Christmas. But here we are. Anyway, Shinto here writes, I haven't lied, and again, that's not relevant. They said Merry Christmas. Why doesn't the subtitle say Merry Christmas? Well, yes. Why does it not say? Why does it say Happy Holidays? And it says like Happy Holiday Party or whatever. And this is probably the funniest exchange ever. I'm not saying you're lying, but putting Merry Christmas would be a lie because they're not celebrating Christmas. Spoiler alert, they are celebrating Christmas, yes. And the guy says, it would not be a lie. The sign literally says Christmas party. The character said Merry Christmas. And probably this one's the most hilarious. I'm assuming this person has maybe around 60 IQ. Hard to say. Definitely no more than that. But it's not Christmas. Or at least how Westerners perceive Christmas. Yes, this person here is a High Council representative of all Westerners, and he has the best idea of how Christmas is celebrated in the West. Absolutely 100%, no doubts whatsoever. But let's continue. There is another one which I found, oh sorry, this is the same one. This is another one which I found equally funny, which again misses the point of what's actually being said in the scene by some kind of whataboutism statement. Explain me why is it incorrect to translate Merry Christmas to Happy Holidays if the phrase Happy Holidays is not used in Japan. Well, sometimes what you see is Happy Christmas, for instance, not only Merry Christmas, but Happy Christmas. But, I mean, how does it matter if they're not using Happy Holidays? I mean, they're saying Merry Christmas. It's really not that deep, my man. At that time, is obvious and only obvious Merry Christmas can be translated to both phrases. No, it actually cannot. And I think here's a really good argument for someone who is an actual translator, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Polfin here, our Japan day tripper, who has a lot of traveling videos, but also a lot of breakdowns and translations, poorly done localizations. He's discussing a lot of them on his channel. Please check him out. Amazing content. But anyway, enough of glazing. What he says, you're an artard. I speak fluent Japanese. That is true. And he lives there as well. Yes. And it's Christmas. They celebrate it differently, as mentioned before, like every other country does. I know this might be shocking to some people, but every country in the West also celebrates Christmas a little differently. Even the countries where Christianity is one of the main religions, and there's a lot of Christian people, and they do tend to celebrate Christmas a little differently. I know, it's shocking, it's absolutely mind-boggling. How can this be possible? Is diversity a thing? But anyway, it is still Christmas. It's not a plural set of winter holidays. It's not happy holidays as localizers would like you to think, or some corporate inoffensive HR waste of space absolutely wants it to be. It's effing Christmas. It is Christmas, yes. And I found it also interesting here how he points out that 80 years ago in America, Christmas was a far more religious holiday. That is absolutely true. It was later turn into a capitalist holiday by promoting selling of lots of Christmas gifts in stores, yada yada yada. But essentially, and it was, I think, called Xmas or something, but it's still Christmas. Happy Holidays is some kind of weird thing, and here he kind of delves into it, is a deliberate attempt to be inoffensive for a range of winter holidays. That is true, but it's also kind of like a weird, super ultra progressive way of not being offensive towards people who don't celebrate Christmas. I've heard it a number of times, but people still do celebrate Christmas, even if they're not necessarily Christian, because that's, I mean, it's, again, no longer like a super Christian holiday in itself. But yeah, the Happy Holidays is for a range of winter holidays. There are different terms for winter holidays and the winter break in general. So yeah, it is not a generic term for Christmas. And funny enough, yeah, it's not even the exact same thing. So Localizer strike again by failing successfully, and unfortunately failing upwards as well. In one of the other videos I'm gonna talk a little more about localization, since there is another topic straight from an actual localizers, yes, ladies and gentlemen. But that is it for now, and I see you guys in the next one. Mata ne!